Hello, good morning. This is your host on Life Connection, Apostle Israel Shiso, the minister of gospel, working with African Providence Evangelist Mission in the great metro area, Charlotte metro area. So I just wanted to welcome you to our broadcast. Welcome to Life Connection. As you can already realize, we are in the pursuit of helping people to find the way and the mean to connect to life, to the real life. As you can all realize, as I do, I happen to find out that there are two sides of things. There is there is those things that are permanent, and some other things are just temporary. And I come to realize also that concerning life is the same. There is this life that is temporary, and on the other hand, I realize there is the life goes on, as we already have said it in our previous broadcast. So last time when we spoke about the source of connection, finding the source of connection, the source of life. That's where you need to to connect so you can tap into life. So, for your reminder, we all know that connecting means to attach, to join. And when you attach something, you connect it, you join, you put together. There is a reason or mean beyond that. When you connect, there is a purpose. In every connection there is a purpose. So if for example you connect to internet provider, service company, you want to draw signals, internet signals, so you can surf on the net, so there is a purpose. So this connection we're talking about is not a connection without a purpose. It has to have a meaning. So today, as I was meditating and thinking about what are we going to talk today and share with our audience today. So I came out with this, I found out this very important thought that came in my mind, in my spirit, very important and serious concern about time. So I'm going to say time is critical. I think anybody who has taken time to examine things and to analyze, to study things, to search out things, you will realize that time is very critical, very critical. Most of the time, we realize that time is critical when situation that are contrary or circumstances comes. You see, we just went through a season of two hurricanes. Florence came and passed, and then before we know it, so Michael was coming. And when those circumstances hit, you realize time is critical. Why? Because you have to make quick decision because it is limited time. You only have a window, just a small window of time that is allowed to you to make a decision and to get involved into action so you can escape the side effect of that circumstances or that condition. And most of the time, we realize that we as human, we're not just uh, very, very perfect in that area where you know when to make a good decision, when is a good time to make the decision. And that's why most of the time people are uh, find themselves in a situation that are not really pleasant. They get caught off guard. So don't let that mistake to happen because connecting to life and connecting with life is very critical. Life I found out there's two aspects of life. One is the temporary or the temporal, and there's one that is permanent or eternal. Most of us, we are more concerned and focused and conscious about what is present, which is temporary and is not permanent. So we think about now because we are all functioning with the present time. Yes, we do projection for the future because we have some kind of vision for our future because we are not just a fatalist, we are realistic. We say, okay, when we are positive, most of the time we don't want to be pessimistic. And we say, no, I just don't want to be negative. I want to be positive. So we have come out with this kind of philosophy, just stretch it out. We kind of stretching things, even if there is no possibility to go beyond the limit, but we try to break the barrier of limit. You see, we just came up with another concept, another scientific area where we are rushing into working hard is called the artificial intelligence. So we are in the pursuit of things, but we cannot just cheat facts. Time and life, these are facts. These are laws. They are laws. You can't just change them. You cannot just cheat. You cannot cheat life or cheat time. We have seen great scientists have come, they're gone. We all come and go because that fact, that reality concerning the temporal, because we are not eternal. We're not living in eternity. We're living in the temporal. So that's just the same way when most of people, you go to get a job, some of the jobs, if they don't hire you directly, you start as a temporary uh, employee, and then you will get through validation, 90 days of probation, then you become permanent. You see, you cannot just erase the temporary or the temporal. But the thing is, we don't believe in the eternity, in the permanent, because we think that is illusion. No, that's wrong. So let me show you something. I'm going to read with you in the book of Luke, my document of reference, as I said already to all of you who are listening to me, follow me, is the Bible. Because there is no place, there is no book that talks about life more effectively with efficiency more than the Bible. If you have a serious question, fundamental question about life, like who am I, where am I coming from, for how long I'll be here, where am I going after here, the Bible gives all these answers. And the Bible talks about one of the most incredible persons who has ever lived as a human being is Jesus. Muhammad said, okay, I don't know the purpose of life. We will find out after we die, when we go there. And how we get there, I don't know. Just do the best you can. You may get there. If you please God enough, you do what He's pleased with, you might get there. But getting there, I don't know. Buddha say, search the truth. I don't know the truth. Confucius said, I don't know the way. But Jesus came on the scene and he said, I am the way, I am the life, and I am the truth. So why waste time trying to find out something that has been already revealed and provided? Jesus has provided all the answers. That's why if we're talking about life connection, we're talking about connecting with the source of life, which is Jesus Christ. Because if this is the reasoning we can come up with, some kind of philosophy, logical thinking. If Jesus was wrong and he knew that he was wrong, and he was telling to people wrong things, is a liar, right? Second, if Jesus was wrong and he did not know that he was wrong, and he was trying to convince people that he was the truth while he was still wrong, though Jesus was mental disorder person. He was a lunatic. He needed mental help. But if Jesus knew that what he was saying was true, and it is true, that means Jesus is true, you only have two options. You reject him and his truth, or you accept his truth and you embrace it and you take ownership of it. That's the three line of thinking I have provided. Either Jesus was a liar, a very bad liar, and he tried to convince people that it was the truth, but he knew that he was a liar. That's deception. But Jesus did not know that he was lying, but he was convincing people that, no, I'm telling you the truth. But he did not know that he was lying. That was very sad. So he was a lunatic, he was a sick man. But neither was Jesus a lunatic or a deceptive or a deception, because he said, I am the truth, and he proved it. Everything that Jesus made a statement about concerning himself, he proved it. So we saw that lately when we looked in the situation, the case scenario of this man called Lazarus with his two sisters. Lazarus came to pass out and passed away, and Jesus had a very particular relationship with the three of them. And the sister said, okay, he was still sick. Come on and help him out. Jesus tarried before he got there. And then 4 days later, Jesus came, so it was all done. It was dead in a stage of decay. They say, no, don't bother. When we believe we belong to the culture of death. Jesus said, no, I am resurrection. My culture is life culture. Life goes on. You can go into transition, change the stage, but I can still bring you back to the initial stage of life, because once God gives life, it is eternal. We might have a temporal life. That's where we are deceived, because we think, okay, we are born and we're going to die. So what? Let us dance, play, eat, do whatever we can do, because after life, there's nothing. No, before life, before birth, there was life. You came into this world, I came into this world, it was a transitional. And after this transitional period, I will go into the different stage. I will go back. I came from the eternity into the temporal, and from the temporal, I'm going back into the eternity. So you see, you can have your service connected and disconnected. If you connect with service, you have a chance, you have a possibility to disconnect from that service. And if you like it, you still have an opportunity to reconnect. So that's how life is, and that's what happened to life. So listen to the reading, a book of Luke, chapter 12. What is Jesus saying here? Because my thought today, the truth that I want to communicate with you is that time is running out. Time is running out. So hurry up. I want you to understand time is critical. You will not make an exception. Time will not just stand still for you and let you keep on living. No. Everybody has come to that point. Most of the people realize too late. On the other side, okay, I thought I would be here forever. Hitler is not here anymore. Mussolini is not here anymore. Stalin is not here anymore. Gorbachev, I don't know, Khrushchev, George Pompidou, Ronald Reagan, uh, Abraham Lincoln, all these were George Washington, James Madison, all these great people, they're gone. They're gone because time has its own logic and it imposes its logic to anybody. So that's why if we don't understand that time is critical, so we're going through, we will be facing some very, very strategic situation, tragic situation, very destructive situation. So Jesus is telling people here, let us read from 16 to 24 verse. He said, then he spoke a parable to them saying, the ground, we can change it into the business of a certain rich man yielded great increase and benefit. Oh, that's very, very uplifting, very inspiring. Becoming a successful businessman. Everybody is dreaming about being successful. That's the main focus of most of the people on this earth. I have to succeed. I have to be successful. And I know it's a good thing you want to be successful. Okay, let's go into the reading. And it continues says, and he thought, okay, within himself, saying, what shall I do since I have no room to store my crops? I have to expand. No, my business has taken over the United States. I have to go to Mexico. I have to expand to Canada, to Europe, to Asia. Projection. The people have vision in the temporary. They still have a big vision. And he said, okay, nothing bad with expanding, but is this vision an objective vision or a subjective vision based on the fact of what we have said earlier, the temporal and the eternal, the permanent and the temporal, the essential and the fundamental versus the accessory. You see, this man is surprising us. Jesus is surprising. So, he said, I am successful and I need to keep on growing. I have to keep on growing. And he said to himself, I have no room to store my crop. I need another bank account. I need to open another business, another franchise. All right. And verse 19, he said, I will say to myself. And he said, oh, so he said, I will do this. He's a very, very good thinker. And he said, he's very analytic and very critical. He said, okay, if I don't do this, I'm not going to get this result. But if I do this and that, I will get this result. So I said, I will pull down my barns and build greater barns. And there I will store all my crops and my goods. He's a visionary too. He has a vision. And this is what he said. And I will say to myself, so you have many good laid up for many years. That's where the problem comes. How did he know that he had many years ahead of him? You see, there is a song I love to hear most of the time. They sing, Lord, teach me what I need to know and show me one day at a time how to walk, because yesterday is gone. All I have is today. Tomorrow may never be. Are you sure you will be here tomorrow? Because you are thinking about tomorrow. You see, when we start building visions, we are stretching the time. So we're not thinking, you don't build a vision for today. No, you live today. Today is the present. You live with the fact today. The vision is a projection of what I want to be and where I want to be tomorrow. But the thing is, you don't control time. You have no power over time. We cannot control time. When Hurricane Florence came, it showed to all of us that in Carolina, especially in the East Coast, you don't control time, you don't control circumstances, because circumstances are also managed by time. You know what created the hurricane? It was time. You say, why? Yeah, because there was element that is a part of the time that came together. When you talk about depression, high pressure, low pressure, these are the condition, atmospheric condition. They are produced by time. They don't just happen. They come progressively. There are conditions that come together. And meanwhile, time is ticking. You see, when we wake up in the morning, it's fresh. As the sun rises up, the temperature also starts rising. It's all conditioned by time. You understand? So time and circumstances, there's no man who has power and authority over these two elements. So trying to play with, that's nonsense, that's foolishness, and that's not smart. So that's why the thought, the truth I brought to share with you today is about the critical time. Time is critical. Don't think time works for you. That's the mistake. Time does not work for me. Time may work with me if I cooperate with time, but time never worked for a man. You have to line up with time. When the sun rises, you see, we have 24 hours in a day. Once that 1 o'clock is passed, you can't go back to 1 o'clock. It's 2 o'clock already. And the clock will not be set back because of you. You can't set back the time. You cannot. So time is critical. Even our own life is teaching that time is critical. You see, now I have turned to 60 this. I'm turning 60 next month. I cannot go back to 20 to 40 to 30 to 50. It's over. And there are things I should have done when I was 20 and I didn't do them, and I cannot do them now. For example, I say, okay, I want to become a professional soccer player. It's too late. I cannot set back the time. It's impossible. So time is critical. So if you fool with time, you are fooling with your life. You are playing around with your life. So time is very critical, and life also is most critical. Time is critical, life is critical. Do you know that? That the life you have now is one shot. If you don't do what you have to do now with this one shot, it's all messed up. So this is what Jesus said to them. This is, look, the thinking, how this man is processing his thinking. I will say to my soul, you have many goods. You are wealthy. You are successful. Houses, cars. You have achieved it. And he said, he made a mistake. This is his mistake. Laid up for many years. Take your ease, relax, eat, drink, and be merry. Wow. Is that all that life is made up with? When you become successful, that's it. Just eat, drink, play, take your ease. But listen, verse 20. That's a waking up call. A waking up call. A wake up call, please, because my English is always mixed up with some French thinking. The battle is up here. He said, but God said to him, fool. So you see, he started as a successful. At the human standpoint, he was successful, intelligent, smart, because stupid and idiot don't succeed. So he was smart. But listen what God is telling him. God is really describing him. He said, you are a fool. You can be smart and still a fool. A lot of smart people, but a fool. A lot of intelligent people, but a fool, because they don't know how to put people things in perspective. God said to him, you are a fool. This night, you see how things change, how critical it is. He was thinking about many years, but the Lord said, you are a fool. Tonight, that's it. All the things you have gathered, you're going to leave them alone. You see artists from very celebrity from Los Angeles, from Hollywood, dying, leaving behind mentioned billions of dollars, and their fame stayed behind. That's to show that time is critical. Listen, God said, tonight your soul will be required, and you. Then whose will those things be which you have provided? So you see, your life has more value and greater value than anything you can achieve, anything you can accomplish, anything you can get. Wealth, prosperity, fame, celebrity, position, your life, your soul is more important. And your soul is so important that God wants to give life to the soul, because life, your soul was intended to live forever, for the bad or for the good. Are you ready for that? You don't know where your soul came from. Ask any doctors. When a baby is formed in the womb of a woman, that is biology, that is chemistry working with physical elements, molecules, atoms. These are just flesh and blood. But where do the mind comes from? Not just the neuron in the brain. And where does the speech come from? Because when the baby comes out, he's not talking. Where does speech come from? Where the mind come from? Where the emotion come from? Because as you grow, you find out that you are not just like anybody else. You are a unique individual. You think your own way, you have your own will. God put souls in man. Soul is more valuable than the body and the flesh, for which we spend much of our time. We want to be successful so we can take care of this body. We have lust, we have envy, we have pride, covetousness, we have greed, we have all these fleshly desires. That's what we're working for. And that created a problem. These are the problem that are created. The priority are reversed. When we focus on what is temporary, we lose sight on what is priority and what is urgent. You see, life has on this temporal aspect of it, it requires to be considered as a higher priority. So it can be protected, guaranteed, and ensured so it can continue. Which means because of the critical the aspect of time, Life become an urgency. Protecting your life, securing life become an urgency. Life requires priorities and urgency because you don't know when you will be kicked out from here. The day you were born, you did not know. The day you were conceived, I have no idea. My mom never did not know when exactly she conceived me. So when I was born, I had no consciousness of my own being. The day you die, people are surprised to see just they were holding the person in the hands and then he's gone. Oh, he's gone now. They start crying, but he's gone. And you did not see when he was going, when he was leaving. They can have a machine plugged everywhere. And when the machine stopped, the machine said, okay, he's gone. So this is the situation. Time is very limited. That's why it is critical. And time is very important. And because of fact that the time is a factor very important in life, you have to have the right thinking so you can be able to make a right decision. The problem with this man who did not realize that his time was critical, he came up with bad thinking, which is a short-sighted thinking. This man has a limited perspective. He didn't have a broad perspective because he could not see beyond. You see the problem with our human sight? We suffer from blind sight. We cannot, you see, my eyes has been what has said just to see at the certain angle, and the object in this angle will be clear. And the distance also has been limited. So the further you want to stretch out your sight, the blurred it becomes. You can only see that far. That's why we end up when our sight starts dimming, we wear glasses because we cannot have clarity. It happened the same thing with our mind. When we don't have good perspective, our perspective is just limited to now because we can talk about vision tomorrow, but we still live now. So that means that kind of thinking is quite subjective thinking because how do you know you will be there tomorrow? You are still here. Tomorrow you don't know. You have no guarantee that tomorrow you will be there. So you see this man, his perspective was very limited and very blurred. Why? Because he was concerned more of his flesh, satisfaction and desire than the fate of his soul. He was never concerned about his soul. You see, let us eat, let us drink, and be merry. You can eat, you can be merry, you can drink. But if you have something tormenting your soul, you have anxiety, you are fear, food and drink cannot wipe up these things. You'll be always fearful. You see, this man, because of his bad thinking, that created in him limited perspective and made him a short-sighted person because all he thought about was now. He suffered from blurred vision, so he could not see. And there's nobody who can see beyond what is allowed. So what is the result? His bad thinking produced an illusion. He thought he was in charge of life. No, he was not in charge of life. That's illusion. Many people are harboring illusion. They are so confident in themselves, they think, okay, I will still be tomorrow. No, you're not going to be here tomorrow. You see, I remember Reggie, he was a football player from Green Bay. A very incredible man, 43 years and died, and he had money. Science could not save him. Nothing could save him because everybody died. But if we have a perspective that is abroad, we will think beyond now. We will think beyond this material or environment, because all he thought was, I needed a better house, I needed a big boat, I needed a big car, I needed all the cars I needed the aircraft, I needed everything, and I got it. Now it's time to have fun. That's a short-sighted, that's a blind-sighted vision of things that will produce illusion. And when you think you are in control, you are in charge, you are about to lose everything that you spend your precious time for. And then that lead to deception. This guy was living in deception. He deceived himself. It was like he did not see cemetery, graveyard around him. It is like he did not hear news about people who are passing away. So he was deceived. Illusion will lead to deception. And because he was deceived himself, nobody deceived him. He deceived himself and he made a bad mistake. Bad mistakes come from bad decision. So when you are deceived, you think wrong. You start thinking wrong. So this person, his thinking became wrong and destructive. And he said, okay, I don't have to worry about the real me. And you see, life is critical. Why? Because life does not belong to human. It's not our lives. It was given to us. So I want, before we conclude this session, in the book of John, this is what Jesus said. Why I urge you, why I compel you, why I am begging you, pressing you to get connected with life, get connected to the source of life, the real life, the one that is permanent and eternal, the life in which you will never lose everything you earn and you work for. Jesus said in the book of John, listen what he said. He's telling people that he who has no connection with him doesn't have no life. That's what Jesus said in the book of John, chapter 3. He's telling this. We're here. Okay. Let's see what Jesus is saying to the people. He said, he who believes in the Son believes is one of the means, is the main avenue to get connected to the source of life, which is Jesus. He said, he who believes, he personalized that, he customized that. He said, he who believes in the Son has everlasting life. You see, there is a life and there is everlasting life. That's why I said there's one is temporary and the other one is eternal, permanent. The temporal one is temporal. That's why some of us live 10 years, 15, 2 years, 2 months, 80 years, 107 years, because it's temporal. That life, the needs of the temporal life are the accessories, but the need of the eternal life, those are fundamental and essential. That's why if you want to keep your service, you need to stay connected with the provider of the service, and you have to abide to the principle, to the policy. Your bills have to be paid every month to keep the service, because you draw the tech from the technology, the benefit of the technology, the signal, internet, and they draw money from you. It's an exchange. You cannot connect with something where you don't get benefit and the thing does not get profit from you. It's impossible. It's a law, it's a universal law. So Jesus said, you believe in me and you will have everlasting. And then this is what he said. And he who does not believe the Son shall not see life, or shall not see life. So what am I? You're just in emotion. You're just going through emotion. You're just going through the impulse, just like animals, like beasts are living based on the impulse and the instinct. That's not life. And he said, but the wrath of God abides on him. You see, Jesus is being blunt here. He say, you don't have the connection with life, you're doomed. You are doomed. You need to have a connection. That's why. Until you connect to the source, which is Jesus, you can't have life. Just like you can't have a service from Spectrum if you don't subscribe, you don't enroll in the program. I said lifetime is critical because it's just a small window of time that you have to make the right decision. You see, there are a period of time that comes with sale when we are switching from one season to another. At the end of that season, there's an open time. It is called sales time. But remember, sales time don't last forever. After that window of time where they put things on sale, product on sale, like a Black Friday, if you don't rush in and have that thing at that sales price, you will never get it. The thing is, sales can come back again the next year, but when you get out of this life, you will never reincarnate and come back again. It's impossible. It does not exist. So if you have connection, stay connected. If you don't have connection with source of life, you need to connect. So my conclusion is the decision maker about your faith, your final moment is not you. God is the decision maker, like it or not. Be angry, do whatever you want, you're not going to change anything. The man never realized that he can be successful, he can break his bonds and expand them, but he did not have the last saying upon his life. God said, tonight, your soul will be required of you. Do you know when you're going to die? You don't have no idea. That's the first thing that makes time critical. You don't know when you're going to die. After you die, if you die without Jesus, the Bible is clear. God gave you this temporal life, which we call existence, to help you connect, come back to him, reconnect with God. And because you didn't think it was important, so your faith for the remaining of the journey of your life will be doomed. God said, tonight, your soul will be required. God didn't say your body because you die, the body goes back to dust. So God is the supreme decision maker. He is the one who controls time and circumstances. Life and time are in God's power and in his hand. So you want to be alive? Continue to be alive. Because life, true life, produces peace, eternal joy. You will be prosper forever. If you are not connected yet, I'm going to challenge you. Jesus said there is a means to connect. The second thing, Jesus said, I am the source of life. Believe is an act of will. You can believe. You can say, Jesus, I accept the fact that you said that you are who you are. And I agree with you. And I come to connect. I embrace. I'm going to share that truth of yours by putting my beliefs in you. And I'm going to be convinced that you are the truth. You are the life. and I'm going to connect with you. So I can draw from you the benefit of being connected, so you can draw profit from me being connected to you, so we can have that kind of exchange. It's simple. If you have not been connected with Jesus yet, the mean to connect to him is believe. But you can't believe if you don't want to turn around. You've been heading into the wrong way. This man never thought about God. In his thinking, there was no God. It was success, expansion, vision, my own vision. And the God said, no, I cannot let you live because I created you so you can live with me and you can live for me, with me and for me, and I can give you whatever you is necessary for you. So he never had a God in perspective. That's why his perspective was limited. That was an offense to God because God was not happy with him. That's why repentance is needed and required. You need to repent, change your mind, change the perspective. Put God as the center of your vision, the vision of life. If that's what you want to do, you decide to believe, you make that decision. You say, I'm going to repent and change my mind, change my way, put God in the center so I can live the temporal with him and transition to the eternal part of life with him. If you have made that decision, then I can tell you, God, his spirit, conviction is inner thing. You don't see the soul, you don't see the spirit, but these are spiritual reality. But they can express through our mind also and our emotion. As you make a decision, would you like to pray and ask Jesus to tell him, I want to connect with you, Jesus? You were disconnected and Jesus wanted to come back. So do you want Jesus to come in your life? So give him your heart. That's the starting point. If you believe, you give him your heart, Jesus will come. There's a promise. He said, here, I'm standing at the door and I am knocking. If you hear my voice and open up the door, I will enter in. I will supper with you and you with me. You see, this man never put God in perspective. He wanted to have fun himself, not with God. God said, I want you to have fun. I want you to eat and drink, but with me. That's why Jesus said, I want to come and change your perspective from the temporal to the eternal. Are you ready? You can bow your head and pray with me. This prayer is the expression and the confession of what you have believed, the conviction that is in your heart. God wants to hear it expressed verbally. Can you do that? So repeat this word. Remember, I'm helping you. If you can do it in a better way yourself, I'll let you do it. But if you want me to help, so let me help you. So pray, Lord Jesus Christ. Now I realize that you are the life because you are the Son of God. I have no life. I am blindsided and I am short-sighted. My perspective is blurred because you were not in perspective, my perspective. And I believe that it is wrong. I decide to change as I believe in you. So I decide to give you my heart so you can come in my life because I believe in you now. Forgive me my sins. Forgive me my rebellion. Now come in my life. Become my life. I am connecting with you now. And I decide to stay with you. Thank you for saving my soul. And thank you for giving me eternal life. In your name, I say thanks to the Lord. Amen. So you see, that was it. You have begun a new life. You are truly connected with the source of life, and he will give you all the proofs you need to know. Once you are connected with a service provider, if you have a device, just go turn on the device, follow the instruction, and the device will kick in. As you have connected to Jesus Christ, you're going to have to follow the instruction. You're going to have to be instructed. You're going to have to know what are the instructions, how you can crank that device. The Spirit of God is coming you, how you can activate the Spirit of God so it can start flowing through you and you can have the life flow through you. This is Apostle Israel Shison, and I'm very happy that we have been together. And thank you for the time you have decided to share with us today. It was a delight being with you on this platform in our broadcast, Life Connection. So we are Life Connection because we want to help people connect to the source of life. Those who were disconnected, we want to help you to reconnect. So remember to subscribe and become our follower. Saturday, we will be coming regular Saturday from 10:30 to 11. So we will be coming with our broadcast, Life Connection. Sunday, we have a service, an internet service for the unchurched, those who are fed up with the church, those who have been wounded in the church, those who think they have, those who have been deceived because they went to the wrong church, they went to the a religion organization instead of going to God, and those who have been chased out, cast out because some people believe that they were wrong than other people were in the church. So, but you still need to come in the house of the Lord. You still want to fellowship with God and develop and grow. It is called, the vision is the church of three. The church of three. And so tomorrow, the church of three, Sunday is, we start from 7 to 8. The church of three is 7 to 8. That's when we come together. So check us out. Let us know. Give us your input, your feedback. So this broadcast is reached its final destination. So we are rounding up. I am Apostle Israel Shiso with African Providence Evangelist Mission Ministry. So I work in the field of apostleship. You can check us out on the internet, Google Apostle Israel Shiso, and you will see that we go here and there and trying to do the best we can to help people get connected to the source of life. So may God bless you, and may God continue to speak to you and to broaden your perspective and change your way of thinking. May God bless you again. Bye bye now.